It's good day to brew, baby. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, Millsy. Back at Hometown Commander, back for another episode of Millsy Brews, the show where I brew version 1.0 deck list of the Commander in front of us on my quest to brew the magic world. You know the motto, baby. It's ABB, always be brewing, and that's what we're back to do today. The deck list is going to be down in the description for you below. As well as I'd really appreciate if you get interact with the video, like, comment, subscribe, consider shout out the links down in the description below. Mikey and I are over on our Discord. It's live. We're chatting. Come join us. But today we're taking a look at Tatsunari Toad Rider, all the way back from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Wanted to take a look at Tatsunari because we've gotten some interesting new enchantments over the last couple sets, as well as some of the classic life gain, matter combo type cards, which could work with Kimi's ability. So I thought it was time to come back and take a look at Tatsunari. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if we don't control a creature named Kimi, we create Kimi, a 3/3 black and green frog teacher going with whenever we cast an enchantment, each one loses one and we gain one. And then for 2 mana, we can give Tatsunari and a target frog unblockable except by creatures with flying or reach. There's a lot of ways we could take Tatsunari, whether it be caring about frogs, but I think the way that makes most sense is to care about enchantments. There's a lot of ways we could care about enchantments, but there's 2 ways I wanted to really take advantage of enchantments. There are 3 enchantments, 1 in each color of our colors, that you can cast and then bounce back to your hand. I want to do this to take advantage of Kimi, getting multiple life losses per turn. We're going to try to find ways to net a ton of mana, so we can do that multiple times. And then we'll talk about ways we could pay off Kimi's ability with life gain type cards. But let's talk with a couple of frogs that are in the deck. Obviously, there's Kimi, the key frog we're making every time, so that we could fit our abilities. Gotta play Yargle and Motani. It's a meme. The truth is, making an unblockable would be just a ton of fun. Obviously, still, flying in reach. But the point is, could be a ton of fun to get that in for damage. And then the Gitrog might look odd, but I think what's really nice about it is you can use Kimi to saddle it, sacrifice Kimi since you can just get another one. It's legendary, and Tatsunari is just going to make another one, draw a couple cards, put a couple lands down, and really push our strategy forward as we draw into the cards we want to see. I like the Gitrog for that, and I think it works really well for what our deck is trying to do. But like a true enchantment deck, we care about enchantments and enchantment coming in, specifically Constellation and the Duskmourn version of it, Eerie. Right? All of these abilities go off whenever enchantment comes in, and so we're going to take advantage of them. Bellmark Leech has each our opponent lose a life, which is great. Doomwake Giant gives all our opponent's creatures -1/-1, a great ability to start either getting rid of a couple creatures or just getting rid of mass creatures if our opponents are playing things like tokens. Eidolon Blossoms will draw some cards. NT Tracker will draw us a card. Grim Guardian loses each opponent a life, so it's pretty great with Kimi out, doubling up on that life loss. And then Fierce Sleep Paralysis from Duskmourn, a great top-end card for us. Whenever it or another enchantment comes in, you tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. And stun counters can be removed from permanents your opponent's control. So a way to just tap our opponent's creatures down, hopefully, and take real advantage of locking down their board while we're doing what we're trying to do. Stesson Champion is going to draw us a card and put a counter on itself whenever enchantment comes in. A Verduran Enchantress is going to draw us a card when we cast an enchantment, not necessarily when one comes in. So it is slightly different, but it's still important. We actually lose out to a few of the ones in white that are really good, so we need to play the ones in green that we do have access to. Weaver of Harney gives a buff to all of their enchantment creatures, but for a green, we can copy a targeted activator or trophy ability from an enchantment source we control. And if we do, we can cause new targets with a copy. There is a couple ways to look at that ability, but the truth is you just find an enchantment has a really good ability that you like and double up on it, right? Something like Fierce Sleep Paralysis or Doomwake Giant or Grim Guardian, right? Just double up on those one time if we need to get some extra points across. Enchantress Presence, right? Another one of our draw spells openings. Then we have things like Court of Vantress and Estrid's Invocation that are going to allow us to copy another enchantment. Estrids at the start of our turn lets us blink it and have it copy something else. Court of Vantress has us have it become a copy of something in every one of our upkeeps. So if we're in the Monarch, we actually get to create a token that's a copy of that enchantment. That can be used in a lot of good ways, but I think obviously if we get into the game plan where we're bouncing in or playing lots of enchantments in a turn, we want to be copying those enchantments that give us value every time we do so. Proselytic Memory do have the way to draw some cards, right, with all of our enchantments. So It's going to be able to put counters on a creature at the start of each combat. Shark Typhoon is here to just make some sharks to be attackers / blockers for us as we're playing all these enchantments, getting things going. And then a really fun card that can get out of hand, Vesuvian Duplimancy. Whenever we cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature we control, we make a token, a copy of that artifact or creature, except it's not legendary. This is key so we can copy Kimi multiple times and have those triggers just stack up as we play things. Then when we're playing these single mana, auras that bounce back to our hand, we're getting multiple copies of Kimi, a copy of Kimi every time, right? And then that loss is just getting 3, 4, 5, 6 every time, and you can start to see how the game's going to end pretty quickly. Our opponents can't deal with all of them. The 3 enchantments in question are these 3. These are the 3 auras that we want to get to so that we can be casting them multiple times to take advantage of these effects. Morning, for 2 mana, Shivering Wings for 1, Whipsell for 1. All of them come in an enchanted creature, and for just 1 mana, they return themselves back to our hand. So for 2 of them, it's 2 mana to play and bring back to our hand. For Morning, it's 3. But the point is, depending on how much mana we have, we can do this multiple times, triggering all of our Constellation abilities, trigger all of our draws, all of our things. But we're going to pair this with potentially infinite mana. Sanctum Weaver is an enchantment that says you can tap it to add X mana of any one color, where X is a number of enchantments you control. You're going to pair this with one of 2 auras, either Freed from the Real or Pemin's Aura. Both of them allow you to untap the enchanted creature for just 1 blue mana. So what Sanctum Weaver is going to do is tap itself for blue mana, use 1 of that blue mana to untap itself, go ahead and feel free to tap it for any other color you want, start building mana, and basically, as long as you have, you actually don't even need another enchantment. As long as you have both of them, you will have enough blue mana to make an infinite mana of as many colors as you want that can lead us to play those bounce enchantments a ton of times in a turn, right? Getting Kimi to go off as many times as we want it to. But we can add on to it with the classic life gain combos, right? That classic Sanguine Bond Exquisite Blood combo. Well, remember, Kimi loses them a life and we gain a life, right? But we could pair this with things like Dina, right? That whenever we gain a life, each opponent loses a life. And Sanguine Bond, right? Whenever we gain life, target opponent loses that much life. We can start to extend this combo, and if we get both pieces out, then that can be the thing to trigger the infamous life gain combo to end the game by nuking all of our opponents out. But I like the idea of Dina to be there to say, oh, okay, you're going to lose one, I'm going to gain one, and then you're each going to lose one again. So -2 and +1 there on the life for each time that happens is going to really start extending, right, the amount of them we actually need to drain our opponents out. And I think that's really important when we're looking to go for this more combo-y focused type version of Tatsunari, to make sure we're getting the pieces. So we don't have to cast an enchantment 40 times. Maybe we only have to cast it 15 or 20 to really take advantage of what's in front of us. But I've said it before and I'll say it again on the show. No deck's ever complete. This is my version 1.0 shot at it. And there's a lot we can learn in testing, which is, do we want more frogs? There's a lot of interesting frogs in Magic. We're going to see this in the next couple weeks when we start talking about Innistrad Remastered. In fact, Grolnok the Omnivore himself will be featured, and we'll get to talk about some other frog decks. But the truth is, there's other options for frogs that have good value. Grolnok and both Galarb have interesting abilities. Being able to give us value and be able to get things back. I don't love them as much, but I think it's an option, and some people are probably going to want more frogs. I think there's other options for other enchantments. Things like Overlord of the Baelmerk, some of the Overlords from Duskmourn, maybe some of the Enduring enchantments from Duskmourn, to all have great abilities. I like Baelmerk, being able to mill for and return a non-avatar creature or planeswalker from our graveyard back to our hand. We are in the colors to also return other enchantments back to our hand with other spells like Regrowth and things like that. But Baelmerk just seems like a very interesting one because you can get it down really cheap and then it turns into a big attacker. I think Overlord of the Hauntwoods is good, right? To give us mana as it makes those everything land. So there's a lot of options for just other enchantment creatures as well. But I think some of that could be lost and still trying to keep our combo-y side of Tatsunari straightforward. But let's get into our first playtest. Keeping a 4-lander with Dry Delusion Grow, which is going to help us extend all of our colors, Terra Sunder, and Sanctum Weaver. So turn 1, we pretty much just want to focus on getting Sanctum Weaver down, right? It's one of those key enchantments that's going to help us. Oh, and there's the other half of the combo in Pemin's Aura. So we're in good shape there. I think we just get Sanctum Weaver down here, right? We don't necessarily want to start that infamous combo too early. Ideally, we want to get ourselves get ourselves ramping up. So here we play the Dryad because we have the 3 mana. Then we can play the extra land. Remember, all of our lands are every type, so we can tap actually Sanctum Weaver for 2 and that for 3 to get Tatsunari down this turn on turn 3. And now we have this combo in our hand. We just need something to do in order to really take advantage of it. So here, turn 4, Duplimancy isn't a bad thing. We can have Kimi down this turn, right? So if we play the Duplimancy, that's going to make Kimi, right? We're now up to 3 enchantments, right? So we can play something from our hand. Remember that Duplimancy says whenever we target something with a spell, it gets that copy. So I think it makes sense to... I think it makes sense to do something like Pemenzora on Sanctum Weaver to get a copy of Sanctum Weaver. That means we get extra mana, right? But I think the truth is we need to draw. I think draw is the last real bastion of thing we need because we're eventually going to run out of enchantments in our hand. So I think we Lord Skitter's Blessing. That's going to drain 1 and, we gain 1. Whenever it comes in, we create a Wicked roll attached to a creature we control. It doesn't particularly matter what creature we choose. I mean, at the end of the day, so we'll just choose Tatsunari. We ideally want to pick a creature that's going to stay around because at the start of our draw step, if we control an enchanted creature, then we lose a life and we draw a card. We can also put Pemenzora down to make sure we always have that attached. But basically here, right, now we're just digging. There's Overlord to make some more lands. Song of the Dryads can be some removal for us. But I think here we pay 3 for the Pemenzora on Sanctum Weaver. That's going to get another copy of Sanctum Weaver because of that Vesuvian Duplimancy, which is going to do them, because we casted that, right, -1/+1 there. And then 1, this is going to tap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Both of them are going to tap for 8. Of course, this one just came in, so it can't this turn, but I think we just, take a few green, Overlord, drain, right? It comes in, makes us that everywhere token. Then if we have the option to Dryad summon, we do. Otherwise, we do have mana left to just Grim Guardian, right? Drain everybody again. And now as these enchantments are coming in, right, each opponent loses a life. Now, right, ideally what we need to do here is either find a way to bounce some more things or really just keep pressuring our opponents by casting things. Unfortunately, we didn't hit anything too great there. Pemenzora will also protect the creature it's attached to, giving it the ability to not be blocked and things like that. It can also give it flying. The truth is, I think we just attacked with Overlord here. We didn't hit our land or anything right here, but that's okay. And this is where I think the only place that the deck's going to struggle is there is card draw on the deck, but the problem is you got to hit it, right? And so I think this is going to be the scarier version of your playtest where you don't hit the draw and you're just kind of waiting. I have more mana than I can shake a stick at, but the truth is I just don't have any way to take advantage of it. I guess technically I could try to find a way to kill Tatsunari and bring it back in, but the truth is it's just like, what do? I have no way to sink the mana into anything. Maybe as we test, we found out maybe it's worth slamming in. Well, there's the Yargle, right? That's something that can potentially start becoming unblockable with Tatsunari. But I'm going to move on to the next playtest just because I think we've learned our lesson here, which is we didn't hit the card draw. Maybe it's something where that's something we look into right after courses of testing. On this one, we do see the card draw as a test and champion. Still three lands for the Arcane Signets. We've got that there, Weaver of Harmony, and Song of the Dryad. So this one feels a little bit better, right? There's a little bit more going on. Command Tower turn 1. Turn 2, we see Enduring Tenacity. Whenever we gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So here's a way, right, to extend that Kimi combo. I think we just Arcane Signet here. Turn 3, I love Setessan Champion, but there's no way to really follow it up this turn. I think we kind of want Kimi out, but I kind of like the idea of getting the Setessan Champion on to make sure that we're getting that draw when we need it. Because here we miss the land drop, but that's okay. We play Weaver of Harmony. Draw the card. I guess I'm just trying to ideally hit into some lands. Play the Profs. Draw a card. There's our land, finally. Gold Combat Profs is going to put 2 counters on something. We'll put them on the Weaver just to get some board state. And now I think we try to commit Tatsunari down. Again, we were just trying to get into some extra things. We got 2 mana, so if we have a good target for Utter Insignificance or Witness Protection, let's just say we do it this turn. Counter for Setessan, and it draws. Profs would go ahead and put one counter down. We could tap the Weaver to have another one come down. Sorry, that would have made Kimi as well. But otherwise, no big deal. Again, now, right, we're just, again, looking. We have the card draw this time. We have the enchantments to start drawing. Now we're just trying to draw into those key things. Asinine Antics is a very interesting card. So for 4 mana for each creature our opponent control, we make a cursed roll attached to them, which is an enchantment, and will trigger Setessan Champion a ton. So that is an option. It will draw us a ton of cards, grow it into Oblivion, and hopefully it finds, right, that thing. But I think 6 mana, right, I think I like the idea of trying to just commit more to the board this turn. Maybe something like Enduring Tenacity. Get that counter, draw a card. 2 mana left, so we have at least 1 on 2 profs this turn. And I think that would be it. I mean, I guess we could utter to try to draw again, if there's really something there for our opponents. Truth is, we're just building, again, trying to find those things. Remember, one opponent's losing 2, the rest are losing 1 with Kimi plus Tenacity. Getting in here to turn 7, we see Enduring Vitality, a way to tap our creatures for mana. And I think now would be the turn I just Asinine Antics. I have no idea how many creatures my opponent has. Let's say for the purpose of this, they have 7. I mean, total, I have no idea. The point is we're just digging, right? At this point, we're just digging through our deck to get them. Again, that's not a cast, so Kimi doesn't go off, but we are going to get a bunch of counters off of that profs. Play the Vitality, draw. Again, the point is we're just trying to get into as much as we can. I think I'd Estrids as a copy of Tenacity, draw, right? Again, the point is we're just trying to get access to more, draw, find one of those so we could start, nuking off them. I think I'm starting to realize there now, maybe that the Enchantress draw isn't enough. Maybe it's time to run something like, could be time to run something like some traditional blue draw spells, right? Like Blue Sun Zenith or things like that. It could just be that we hit the wrong side of the deck, right? With 70 left. But the truth is, there's a lot in the deck to do. We still could have had Grim Guardian down there and helped out, right? There's other ways to come down in and help out. We just didn't see it this time. I think something like Dina would help out as well, right? Extending the amount of times. Now Setessan Champion's a problem, right, for our opponents. I think the same thing. We are a little down on draw here, but Estrids does have the option to make sure that we're at least getting these constellation triggers every turn. Profs is going to grow our creatures, right? I think we're still in good shape this game. I mean, the truth is Profs grew something else huge last turn. Maybe something like Tatsunari got all those counters, right? Tatsunari can make itself and then another frog we control, which you don't have, and Kimi, right, unblockable, and take some attacks, and maybe Tatsunari starts to become a commander of a damage threat here. But the truth is, we whiffed again on showing off what the deck's trying to do, which kind of stings, but maybe shows us that the combo might be a little frail, and we need some more card draw for it. So we'll go into playtest number 3. I hate to look like that, that it's not doable. It is doable. The truth is maybe we need more card draw to sustain the goal of what we're trying to do. Again, the whole point of this being our version 1.0, deck list. 4-lander here, no black, but the Foreboding Landscape can go get it. Dryad, Spark Double for a copy of Kimi, ideally, Weaver, and then into the pits our turn 1 draw, which can allow us to sacrifice a non-land permanent in addition to playing its other costs to play a card off the top, which is an interesting ability. Turn 2, I guess we'll just play the Weaver. Turn 3, well, there's the Shimmering Wings, so we're on our way. We'll go Flooded Grove into Dryad into an island. So now we're on our way. We got the Shimmering Wings, right? So we get Tatsunari down. We can actually Shimmering Wings onto one of our creatures to get Kimi, right, if we want to. The problem is I don't. I think I'd have enough mana to pick it up. I think I could do it this way and have enough mana to play it and then pick it back up to get Kimi, right? So now we've got the thing. We're just looking for the bankroll, right, to make it happen. I think Spark Double on Kimi, Shimmering Wings and pick it up. That'll drain 2, right? And we're still in good shape, working our way towards our things. Here's 7 mana. I like the idea of the Eidolon just to keep drawing, finding some more things. Shimmering and pick it up for the drain 2. We got Tenacity, which can help extend that drain. Play the Tenacity for the drain and actually draws us a card because of the Eidolon. And, ooh, okay, Phyrexian Arena might help, getting some extra draw each turn, right? So I think we do that. And then turn 8, Verdurn for the draw, and we should be able to do this twice. 1, 2, 3, 4 draws, right? Because Eidolon draws us every time. And then more drain, right? And we don't mind paying the life each turn to draw off the Phyrexian Arena because we're getting it back with Kimi. And now we see the Bale Marks. That's going to extend this to 3 damage each time we do it, plus the 4th, right, for somebody. And you could start to see now where our combos, this is what we're ideally looking for. It's not always the infinite mana, but this stacking up of the abilities as we do what we want to do. Because here, you put the Bale Mark down. And then I can do this 3 times, bounce, cast it and bounce 3 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 6 card draw. And you're doing that for 3, 6, 9, and then 3 damage to somebody else. And I think now our ball is rolling. So maybe we need to mulligan more aggressively or try to find our way into some more of our draw outlets early, if possible. And there's a lot of ways we can do that through different means, but it just goes to show you that sometimes that's important. And sometimes you don't necessarily always realize it until you get into testing. But let me know, what do you think of Tatsunari? Am I off base? Am I doing right? I'd love to hear what you think. And I catch you guys next time.